Welcome to the third week of the weekly weight loss Zoom. Now, why do I have the Zoom? Well, first of all, to create a support group, because I mean, support is always nice to have, and it gets accountability as well in the process, which is also great. Also for you to get, you can ask questions, we can share diet tips, for example, well, get support in general, because the support group helps you stay committed, get healthy nutrition tips in the process, and have some fun in doing it. For example, I just burned all those calories because we got the pizza in the oven. Now, okay, that's not the type of burning calories we want, but okay, let's have some fun as well while we do the Zoom. If you want to lose weight, check your measurements, because you're also very often misled by the scale. Oh, what's my reading? What's my weight? A weekly tip. If you eat more than your daily need in kilojoules or calories, you will gain weight. Basically, that's the bottom line. But do not lose weight too fast. Also, do not starve yourself. That can have a counter effect, actually. And measure more than just your weight. And that's what I'm going to talk about as well tonight. Measure more than just your weight. Okay. People often ask, why do we struggle to lose weight? There are many reasons. I'm going to run through a couple of them tonight, just very quickly. Very often a weight loss plateau may be explained by muscle gain or undigested food and fluctuations in body water. The scale doesn't budge, therefore measure your waist, your upper arms, and so on, because it can be misleading just to focus on the weights. Keeping a food diary when you are trying to lose weight can also help you see what you eat, because very often, I've got a daughter like that, she very often says, I had nothing to eat today. But if you look throughout the day, she has something here, there's something there, there's something there, there's something there, little bits and pieces, but in the end, it's big plate of food in the end. So keep a food diary. Make sure to eat plenty of protein-rich foods. We'll talk more about that later on, but protein is very important in the whole losing weight process. It's possible you may be consuming too many calories. Okay, base your diet on whole foods. Eating too much processed food could negatively impact your weight loss. So we must be careful the type of food that you eat. Try to stay away from all these processed foods. Although they say it's low GI or low fat or whatever they say, stay away from all these processed foods as far as possible. I know convenience, sometimes you have to eat the processed foods, especially to visit other people. So be careful what you choose to eat. In other words, are you doing strength exercises? That's another question to ask, because exercise plays a very important role in helping your body burn fat and getting rid of excess weight and burn all those extra calories you might get in. Also, are you cutting out sugary treats and carbs like fizzy drinks? People here, I want to include even your diet drinks. I have a picture on the computer available now, but I saw like the Coke tin, it says sugar-free. But if you look at the ingredients, number 2, number 3 on the list is caramel. And caramel is sugar. It's saying it's a colorant on the tin. I mean, that's absolutely misleading. So I must be careful about those fizzy drinks and all these treats that you take. I found at Woolworths, it's a low-carb nut bars, which I saw the other day. I bought it, it tastes quite nice. I haven't checked exactly all the fine detail yet, but it tastes quite nice and low carb. Obviously, another thing is maybe do not get enough quality sleep. Sleep, interesting enough, play a role in losing weight. People that don't sleep well tend to pick up weight. Or you're eating too often, too many mini meals and snacks. You see what happens here. This is where I'm not so sure about this thing. Many doctors say that diabetes must take 5 small meals a day, because every time you eat a meal, it affects your insulin levels, it affects your sugar levels, it changes your body's whole metabolism. For some people, it might work, but check, maybe that might be a problem in your case. Maybe you're not drinking enough water. Some people feel peckish, they feel like they'll eat something, but they're actually thirsty. You may be chewing your food too fast and eat slower. Enjoy your meal. Now, I'm guilty there. I have to force myself to chew slower and enjoy my meal. I'm more like a, a Rottweiler, and it's gone. Right? That type of stuff. You're not the wise choice when it comes to eating food. You can have health issues like fatty liver disease, which can cause you to struggle to lose weight. But be careful also not to get into cravings. But that also happens, especially people who go on these diets for 6 weeks or something. And after 6 weeks, they've got this craving and then they binge eat on something. Be careful of that type of thing. That's why I lose weight simply by cutting my portion slightly and doing exercise. If you've been losing weight for many months and you've hit a plateau, perhaps you need to take a break. Sometimes give yourself a break in terms of strict dieting. It doesn't mean you go overboard suddenly, but maybe you must just give your body a break. People's expectations are sometimes unrealistic when it comes to weight loss. I mean, they want to lose 10 kilograms in a week. No, that's not healthy in any case. So check what your expectations are. And like I said before, maybe it's also a case of losing centimeters because you're building muscle. So check on that as well. Dieting is not a long-term solution. If you're going to lose weight and keep it off, you must change your lifestyle. So you must change your lifestyle. In other words, it's not good to go for 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 2 months on a diet. Once you finish, you go back to your old habits again. Because you just pick up your weight, the yo-yo effect, which I mentioned in the first Zoom we had. Your gut health needs attention. Maybe your probiotics are not well. Okay, your probiotics, maybe you need to look at your probiotics. There can be genetic factors in the case of some people. We also know in terms of health issue, I forgot to mention that, but that's also something linked to genetics. Your thyroid underactive, that can be also a factor. Some medications like beta blockers. Beta blockers are very often prescribed for blood pressure, high blood pressure. But beta blockers can also cause you to pick up weight. And there are many other medications that can do the same thing. Also, you might underestimate your portion sizes. You think, I'm not eating a lot. Or you eat mindlessly or when distracted, when you're bored. And you eat and don't realize even what you're eating. Sometimes you might skip meals and then end up overeating because you're suddenly very hungry, so you overeat. So a lot of what we said here so far also says discipline. You might need some discipline too. And that's part of what I hope to achieve with this support group, to give people that discipline and support to keep the discipline. Now, one way of measuring how successful your weight loss is your body mass index. So this can also be used to determine whether you must lose weight or not, okay, or even gain weight. Now, how do you determine your BMI, body mass index? Here, the left-hand side, you can see here, you take your mass in kilograms, divided by the height in meters, divided again by height in meters. Here's an example. If you weighted, for example, 85 kilograms, height is 1.8 meters, then divide the 85 by 1.8, in this case it's 47.22, divide that again by 1.8, you see this is at 26.23. That is your body mass index. But there's some limit to your body mass index and the value to it. But let's look at some of the points here. It's considered a good way to determine if you have a healthy weight or not. It's a quick, simple, effective, and applies to adult men and women. Don't have to be exact weight to be in the normal range. Good for giving advice to groups of people. However, it does not take into account muscle mass. I mean, if you're a bodybuilder, you have lots more muscle. So you probably will be, according to the BMI, be overweight then. Okay? Because muscles weigh more than fat. It's not a measure of body fatness, really. It's not appropriate for pregnant women, obviously. And excessive abdominal fat, more detrimental to health than just looking at BMI. But it's a useful tool, but there are other tools we can use with this. But you can see the ranges. When you calculate your BMI, your supposed to be normal range would be like 8.5 to or 19, give or take, to 25. That is your healthy range. Below that is underweight. You might develop nutritional deficiency diseases, osteoporosis. Above 25, you get into overweight range, body risk of developing health issues. And above that, above 30, is obese. I know in some countries they already say 25 and up is obese. But your risk of getting heart disease and blood pressure problems and diabetes and stroke increase a lot if you're over 30, your BMI. Now, this information I've shown so far comes from the Shaw Academy as well. And here's another slide from the Shaw Academy. Where you carry your weight is also important. Your central obesity or apple shape, very dangerous to health. You see, there are nice pictures here to demonstrate what they mean by that. Okay, the independent risk factor, high result can indicate risk of hypertension, dyslipidemia, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and so on. It's a better indicator of health than BMI. BMI tells you whether you must lose weight or not, good indication of that. But this is a better indicator of your health. Where do you carry your weight? Okay. This is the BMI is little value if your BMI is more than 35 kilograms per square meter. Okay, but if your BMI is more than 35, okay. But so what shape is your body? Okay, so the apple shape not good. Waist girth and health risk. Now, if you take your waist, men normal range is around 78 to 94 centimeters, women 64 to 80. That's supposed to be a normal range. Overweight, 94 to 102 for men, 80 to 88 for women, and so on. So this is also available with your BMI to use a measurement like this. And here's how it works. Another one, waist to hip ratio, also from Shaw Academy. You take your waist at the narrowest place and measure at the widest part of the body. And put the waist centimeters over the hips, and that will give you also a measurement which you can use. And here's the example. If that ratio is more than 0.9, then obviously increase of health risk. For women, it's more than 0.85, increased health risk. So the last two gives you indication of health, whereas the BMI is more in terms of weight. Your question's answered. Linda asked about fatty liver disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease specifically. Here's some main points about it very quickly. Obviously, they say obesity is considered one of the causes of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Fat buildup causes insulin resistance and triggers inflammatory signals. Now, because of obesity, this happens, and people become insulin resistant. And because of the glucose building up in the body, inflammation starts to increase in the body. People with hypertension, as high blood pressure, high cholesterol, who are overweight and have diabetes, have a greater risk of developing fatty liver disease. Now, why is this included? Because fatty liver disease can cause some people to struggle to lose weight as well. Now, what's going on in fatty liver disease is when the liver is overburdened and therefore able to metabolize nutrients and fats properly. Your metabolism slows down, and that's a problem. Because that's one of the reasons why people also pick up weight. The metabolism slows down, the body burns fat slower and burns calories slower. And this can lead to health issues. Now, because the liver is overburdened, fat will start depositing in other parts of the body, and that leads to weight gain. Alcohol, fat, carbohydrates, oils, damaged by high heat, and rancid oils can all make the liver work harder. So if the liver struggles, you can end up picking up weight. Obviously, if you can lose weight, it can help to reverse fatty liver disease. Medication plays a very important role, and also whole food supplements, because a healthy lifestyle, healthy diet, getting enough sleep, removing toxins from the body to help heal the liver, can also help to reverse fatty liver disease. Studies also show that if you lose about 10% of your weight, it will already make a difference to your enzymes in your liver and can help to reverse the condition. And be careful, rapid weight loss can worsen fatty liver disease. So one must not lose weight too fast. Now, a diet low in saturated fats and high in omega-3, and one that helps to balance cholesterol, blood sugar, and blood pressure is recommended. So choose a wise diet. Avoid your sugar and starches, your processed foods. Avoid those things that can cause your sugar to spike. If you eat poultry, for example, use the lean white meat. Now, there's a bit of difference on this fat idea, because some people say the animal fat is not really unhealthy. But if you're in doubt, rather stick to the conventional idea then. But be careful of fried foods, and alcohol and cereals and so on, and food with high fructose corn syrup in it. Another one, do not eat fruit after meals. You can eat fruit like a starter or before meal, but not after meal. Okay, or wait an hour or so after meal before you have your fruit. And include the following in your diet: whole foods like avocados and berries. Specifically, these are recommended for people with fatty liver disease. Vegetables, legumes, grains. Okay, diabetes, careful of grains again. Fish and seafood, nuts like almonds, not peanuts, please. Olive oil, but not at high temperatures. Green tea, raw garlic, goji berry, selenium, which you find in brazenut, tuna, and oysters. Milk thistle, berberine, vitamin D, potassium, and quite a lot you can include in your diet to help reverse fatty liver disease. Get regular exercise, which can also help. Some people find intermittent fasting can be a great tool to heal the liver. Also, drink a glass of lukewarm water with fresh lemon every morning before eating or drinking anything in the morning when you wake up. That can also help with the liver problems. Drink on average about 8 glasses of water. Now, if you're overweight, you have to drink more. And please, people, coffee doesn't count. Anything that contains caffeine. Caffeine is a diuretic. So anything with and alcohol doesn't count either, because alcohol is also a diuretic. Okay, then detoxify the home by using non-toxic soaps, non-toxic shampoos, and non-toxic cleaning products, and try and get rid of toxins. These toxins are also linked to fatty liver disease, so it might be a good idea to even go on a detox. Another question was asked: what is insulin? Injecting insulin cause weight gain? Now, it does in both type 1 and type 2, but it seems to be more in type 2 people have a bigger problem. I'll discuss this in more detail next time, because it must take too long if I discuss this also today. But it may result from a reduction of blood glucose to levels below the renal threshold without a compensated reduction in calorie intake. So there's a defensive or unconscious increase in calorie intake caused by fear of experience of hypoglycemia. People are concerned I get too low sugar, and they end up perhaps eating more sugar again. But the insulin plays a role. If you don't use the right amount of insulin, it can drop below the level it should be, the sugar, that type of thing. But I'll talk about this in more detail next week. The weight table is voluntary participation. Okay, there's mine. I did manage to lose weight. You see about 800 grams. I see Linda lost quite a lot. Okay, quite a big loss there. This table is to keep you accountable. I mean, in my example, I'm at the top there. Imagine now I'm supposed to set the example and I don't lose weight, I gain weight. That would be a good example. So I'm now accountable. So I must make a plan to make sure I do lose weight. Okay, this is totally voluntary to participate in this table on a weekly basis. You don't want to, you're welcome. You don't have to put your name on here. But it's a bit of a challenge if it's on here, because then you have to keep at it and keep trying to lose weight. Okay, summary. To lose weight, you do not only have to change what you eat, you need to change your eating habits permanently. Okay, so check that you eat foods low in kilojoules and a low GI as well. Check your daily intake of calories and don't eat too many calories. You need to get some exercise to boost metabolism and retain muscle. Otherwise, you might lose weight, but it's actually muscle that you're losing. Choose food that boosts your metabolism. We mentioned like green tea and other herbal teas, for example. I mentioned last week your New Life herbal tea helps to boost metabolism. It may help to have a support system like we've got going here. Take measurements to help you keep track of everything, of your weight loss, and avoid the factors that can prevent you losing weight. Otherwise, try and stay away from too many parties, for example, where there are too many nice things to eat, unless you've got a good discipline. You can say, I can say no to stuff. And there's something I did touch on earlier on, is getting a good protein. Okay, make sure you get enough protein in your diet. Okay, because protein is very important in the process. Remember, protein is used to make enzymes. Enzymes are used to digest food. Enzymes are also your building blocks, like your muscle, your hair, your nails, some hormones like insulin, and so on as well. So get a complete shake if you want to. If you need advice on that, I can also give you advice. You can contact me. But get a good quality shake and be careful. I just saw a video again this week that there's a shake like the God of Life protein shake that got something like 3 organic seals on, but they found cadmium and lead in it. I mean, please, you don't want that in a protein shake. So must think twice about what you buy there. Okay. Every day is not going to be perfect. You are going to fail sometimes. But you haven't failed if one day or week or month isn't perfect. And you can always get back on track. So maybe you fall off the wagon over weekend. Well, Monday get back on again. Okay, but try be careful of the yo-yo effect. Okay. Any questions or anything you want to share with us? Anybody?
I would like to ask a question, but I don't know how to ask it. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
No, I wasn't sure if you could hear me or not.
I can hear you.
Okay. I'm now banging on a bit about the portion.
Yeah.
A portion sort of like level. Can I tell you and ask you, right? Like this morning, I had a half a meatball, which was just plain beef, and it had some spice and a bit of onion in it. And I also used some cooked oats, which I only found out afterwards I couldn't have the oats. Okay, but anyway, it was already in the meatball. So I had the meatball and I had a tomato, and then lunchtime I had 3 salty cracks with some avo on it. And now for supper, I had the other half of meatball, which I made into like a little frittata with 2 eggs, some broccoli, spinach, onion, and tomato. Now, I want to know, is that too much for the day?
Well, you had some salty cracks there which contains obvious starch, which is not a good diabetic. Okay. Yeah. But I think the things you mentioned doesn't sound like that much. No. Linda also agrees with that. No, that must perhaps just like the salty cracks, which is also for carbs again, perhaps. Be careful of that, yeah. And your oats, I know some diabetics can eat oats, but it's also perhaps, like you say, maybe a no rather.
I was just going to ask, why did you have how big is the meatball that you had half a meatball?
It was quite a big one. I made them, I think I might have had about 300 grams worth of raw mince. So I made 3 meatballs out of that. So I think it was probably about 120 grams. So I only had half of it.
Yeah, it's not, I don't know, look, as a diabetic, I think you said earlier that you have been newly diagnosed. I found that if I keep my protein up as a diabetic, you also remember protein also can convert to glucose, right? So you've got to be careful in terms of how much protein you are eating. But it's good that you're having a high protein breakfast because that keeps you full for much longer, and that's great. I think the lunch you certainly can change, and maybe with the dinner tonight with that, what did you call it? The frittata, I think you called it. That you can just add a huge big green salad with that, with lots of raw cruciferous veggies, and that would have made a bigger meal. But I don't think it's too little or it's too much. I think, just if you added a few more healthier elements to each meal, it would have been much better.
Okay, so the avo at lunchtime, if I drop the crackers and just have the avo, would that be okay with women?
Yeah, that'll be fine, but you need to have something with that avo. Avo is a good fat, right? So you want to have something with that avo. You don't want to just have the avo on its own. So have other green veggies, or would add like maybe a hard-boiled egg with the avo. That's also
good. Good suggestion. Yes.
Yeah. And if I was to have then the frittata, because I actually quite like a frittata, it's so easy to make.
Yeah.
So if I was to put 2 eggs at night, could I also have egg at lunchtime?
Perfect. Absolutely. You can have egg at lunchtime, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Sometimes I have 6 eggs a day.
Yeah. Eggs are great. Eggs are great source of protein. And I know when I was young, they said eggs are not good for cholesterol, but actually that changed. They realized actually good for cholesterol. They actually boost your good cholesterol. So you can eat your eggs.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm on track.
Yeah,
okay.
and just just to note that as a diabetic, because your diabetes is measured by your HbA1c, for every kilogram you lose in weight, you reduce your HbA1c by 0.1%. So the more weight you lose, the next time you go for your blood tests, you will see you don't even have to necessarily change massive things, but the more weight you lose, the quicker your HbA1c will go down.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. I've got about 40 odd kilos to lose, probably 45 kilos.
I've got 30 kilos to lose, so don't worry, I feel your pain.
Remember to try and get some exercise, even just walking.
Walking is great.
That's
yeah.
great. Obviously, if you get brisk walk, great, but obviously depending on your health condition, maybe you have to start with a little bit of walk, run block twice until eventually you increase it.
I agree. I agree, Herman. You know, today I just wasn't in the mood for walking, but I just put my headphones on and I walked like the slowest possible pace. I mean, I walked, I think it was 2 kilometers only, and it took me almost an hour to walk 2 kilometers. Normally it takes me about 30 minutes to walk 2 kilometers if I'm doing a brisk walk. But I just walked as long as I get my steps in and I keep moving. And the other thing that I found helps me quite a lot is maybe 30 minutes or an hour after I've eaten, if I just get up and do something, whether I walk for 20 minutes or sweep the floor or mop the floor or something, but do something after I've eaten. I find that helps my digestion quite well as well.
Look, anything, work in the garden, work in the house, anything like that, actually good exercise.
Smooth, just move.
I work for a cemetery, so I've got a big space to walk around in.
Good.
There you go.
Good. Okay. Something else that people forget, you know, we're so used to taking an easy thing. If you go to a building with lifts and stairs, you must just go one story up. People take the lift, take the stairs. I'm not talking about 10 stories, that's a different thing. But it's 1 or 2 stories, take the stairs, get a little bit of exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've also got into the habit now of parking further away to the entrance to the shops, as opposed to sitting in my car and waiting for somebody to leave right outside Pick and Pay. Now I'll just go and find, if there's a parking open about, I don't know, 20 or 50 meters away from the entrance, that's where I'll go and park, and I'll just, it's just to get my steps in.
Yeah. And then in the same vein, if you go to shops, I'm not talking about if you've got 20 packages to carry, but like 2 shopping bags and they're too heavy, leave the trolley at the shop and carry them to the car.
Yeah.
Muscle exercise, because we get lazy, unfortunately, and we forget these little gestures actually help maintain the body in the end.
Yeah, I think when I went to see her eventually, because I've been trying to get to see the doctor. I had COVID in June, and I've been trying to get to see her since then. And I just, with my job and everything, I couldn't go and see her. But by the time I went to see her, I felt so awful. My feet were sore. Everything was just, standing on my feet in the morning was like clack, clack, clack going on, you know. So it was really awful. But since for the diabetes.
Yeah.
She put me on glucophage 1000 XR.
Okay. So when you're taking your metformin, you absolutely have to take a soluble vitamin B12. Metformin depletes vitamin B in the body. So it's absolutely crucial. You must take, even if you go and have your B12 injection every 6 weeks, but the more you take metformin and the longer you take it, the less vitamin B you have in your body. So there'll be days where you'll feel absolutely exhausted and tired, and you have no idea why, because you're exercising and you're walking and you're eating healthy, etc. But you are so tired, and that is usually a sign of lack of a vitamin B, and it's because of the metformin.
Or include food rich in vitamin B in the diet as well, regularly as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So I missed what you said there. You just chopped out. Can you repeat? Include
foods high in vitamin B in your diet.
Yeah.
To help you also.
Yeah.
Okay. I must go another Zoom in 10 minutes.
Herman, just one very quick question on the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
Yes.
Besides having I'm assuming it's determined by a blood test, but besides having this test in the lab, how long does it take to clear the fatty liver, and how would you know that it's been cleared?
Okay, now that will depend obviously from case to case as well. And the point is, what's so difficult about fatty liver disease, you might not feel or see any symptoms. You only start getting the symptoms when it's actually going to, I can't remember the name of the disease now, but it's even a worse liver case then.
Cirrhosis.
Yeah, they call it something else, but yes, that type of thing. Yes.
Okay.
And then it's a serious thing. So I don't think there's a ballpoint date or time I could give you. It will vary from person to person exactly, and but it will take you a couple of months, I suppose, in general.
Okay.
It won't happen overnight.
Yeah, no, sure.
It will take a couple of months.
Alrighty.
Okay. Like I said, in 10 minutes, I've got another Zoom, so I have